Good morning, traders. It's Monday, the 13th of July. It's Carlo here from Blueberry, and welcome back to the week ahead. We've seen renewed hostilities over the weekend between the US and Iran. And Iran has closed the Strait of Hormuz. They've also hit targets in Qatar, UAE, and other Middle Eastern nations in direct response to the United States hitting over 300 targets in Iran. Also, the new Supreme Leader continues to vow revenge. So there's been a huge escalation in tensions between the US and Iran. How's that impacted markets this morning? Well, the oil price has jumped 3%. I've got West Texas crude here on the hourly chart. You can see here the gap up on the open, around just above $74 US a barrel. It's dipped below at the moment, but obviously this is top of mind for traders right now. Oil prices higher. We've seen gold, I'll move to gold next on the hourly chart, but gold is down over 1% to 4,080 US an ounce. And the US dollar, of course, has increased against all currencies, including all major commodities. So the US dollar is currently trading at just over 162 against the yen. If I take you back to the gold chart, we'll just see what's been happening here. I'll just move from the hourly to the daily. So I want to show you in gold, we're right back to that key support area, that support zone of just above 3,900 to about 4,045 US an ounce. And we saw last week gold did dip below that 4,100, bounce out of this zone. We saw a lot of work was done around October last year. So for those of you who are thinking of shorting gold, just keep this massive support zone in mind. This may be an opportunity for longs down here, or obviously continue to focus on developments out of the Middle East. And a quick look at the dollar yen chart as well. US dollars at the moment is seeing a lot of safe haven flow. We picked dollar yen, for example, tends to be historically the most volatile and active currency pair. Been pretty quiet recently, but we've topped out around 162.80. Are we going to revisit that level? I'll expand the chart a bit further here. You can see the yellow line there is the 20-day exponential moving average, and prices have actually hugged that and stayed above that line. Now, there are threats of stealth Bank of Japan intervention if the opportunity warrants, but you would expect that with gold receiving a lot of safe haven demand right now, will the BOJ come in and fight the markets and fight that trend and come in? Might seem unlikely, but that's up to you to make that decision. At the moment, dollar yen is trending strongly. Will prices take out that 162.80 and make new highs? That remains to be seen in the first 2-3 trading sessions this week. Let's take a look at market breakdown and what is likely to be top of mind for traders this week. Traders will be monitoring further developments in the Middle East. Importantly, the Strait of Hormuz is closed now. Its implications for oil prices on the supply side and inflationary expectations. We do have a lot of data this week, but the key data to focus on is as follows. Tuesday, US CPI data. Now, on the monthly basis, we saw an increase of 0.5%. For May, June, price expected to come off negative 0.1%. But I think this information and data might be overshadowed by developments out of the Middle East. Nevertheless, this is key data that the Fed will keep a close eye on. Wednesday, US PPI data, 0.3% forecast for the month of June. Wednesday, we also have the Bank of Canada interest rate decision. Now, in Canada, growth versus the United States is softer. Inflation in Canada is lower than the United States. The Bank of Canada is unlikely to move the cash rate expectations. The consensus across market economists is for rates to stay at 2.25%. So for those of you trading US dollar versus Canada, perhaps take a look at the Bank of Canada statement and try and read between the lines in terms of what the board members are saying over the Bank of Canada. On Thursday, we get some data out of the UK, GDP data, which remains soft. 0.1% is expected for the month of June. That may impact the FTSE 100 and also the sterling versus other currencies. Back to the United States on Thursday, retail sales 0.3% expected. So again, another increase for the month of June. The economy is tracking along quite well in the United States in terms of growth, by employment growth, retail sales, and growth in general. And this may support equity indices, US dollar as well. But again, things are being overshadowed right now by Middle East developments. Friday, we have European Union CPI data, which is likely to remain steady according to market consensus at 2.8%. I'd like to also conclude by mentioning during this week, we do have the beginning of US companies reporting their second quarter earnings, and the major banks are reporting. They're in focus, and this will likely impact the key equity market indices, the Dow Jones, S&P 500, and also the NASDAQ. The JP Morgan. And I'd like to end with another key market event for this week. It is second quarter US earnings. The major banks are all reporting. JP Morgan, Citigroup, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Goldman Sachs, and Morgan Stanley, and very likely to have very strong implications on the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones. So this is what's in store for traders today, this week, and over the next few weeks, second quarter US earnings. So that's a summary for this week. Escalated tensions in the Middle East. How bad will it get? Right now, US dollars, oil prices, and gold are top of mind for traders. Good luck with your trading. I'll see you next time.